Listen. So after mastering the art of animating water, perfecting the reflections of natural light, and becoming ultra-realistic, Pixar's decided to reel it back and do what Sony's been doing for a bit, and I really like it. The hand-drawn style is something that they've alienated themselves from after making most of their movies look the same, but here reminded me a lot of the stop-motion movies that we've been getting, especially with their grommet mouths. It's clearly influenced by some of the greats, and I love the director's quote about making something feel timeless by making it old. It's the story of a sea creature who realizes there's more above the surface during a period in time when his own body's starting to change. Kind of like a reverse 13th year.
This is seriously gross.
And while it is a simple story, I think it was an extremely cute one. It's not something that's gonna blow your mind or be as intricate like some other Pixar flicks are, but it's almost like the team just got together and said,
or we could just have fun.
It's a shame that Disney has pinned down Pixar to being just streaming releases at no extra cost while they continue to push their movies as special premieres with theatrical showings, but that's a whole other video for another time. As for Luca, I do think it's worth the junior price just because of the score and the animation, which would be dope on the big screen if you're able to catch it there, but it is also worth to rent it, even if that now means just a month of Plus, because it does get better with rewatches, as it asks you the question, are you more like the timid but curious Luca, or the outgoing and fearless Alberto? And the answer should be Julia. Let me explain. So the story follows Luca, a fish herder for his family, who feels like he's the one who's being corralled. He looks just like a sea monkey, but even they have more freedom than him. His parents want to keep him in a quiet place, away from all the danger in the world, telling him to fear those above the same way that they fear those below. But then he meets
Alberto Scorfano.
My name is Luca.
He comes out for the first time from the water and looks like all of us walking after quarantine, but Alberto teaches him how, and shazam, he transforms. They spend their summer of 85, 55, adding to Al's collection of collectibles and trying to build their own
Vespa.
But when his parents want to send him off with his uncle, under the sea, fathoms below, Alberto convinces him to run away above sea and be a part of his world. They pull a pirates as they sneak into town through this boat and meet some poor unfortunate souls, but then also some of the best. As far as this dude, I swear I've worked fast food with a dude just like Hercule. Man keeps insisting he's 16 when he's probably like 45, as he bullies everyone in this small town, bending the rules each year to win the annual race known as
The Portorosa Cup?
which the boys decide they want to compete in so that they can get their own.
Vespa.
Who Pixar actually collabed with for the company's 75th anniversary.
La Vespa.
However, Julia and, of course, Hercule don't think they have it.
Fine, go start a club for losers.
Julia is also technically an out-of-towner since she lives with her mom and only visits her dad when she's out of school, and I honestly think she makes the movie in my opinion. Are her lines kinda cheesy?
Santo Pecorino. Santa Ricotta. Santo Gorgonzola.
Yeah, literally. But I love what her character represents. They all realize that they're better as a team as they decide to split the race into the rider, the swimmer, and the pasta eater.
Could be cannelloni, penne, fusilli, troffie, even lasagne.
And I think that they have great chemistry, especially when you consider that they never actually recorded together or even got the chance to meet each other.
I had to do it all in my mother's closet, but it was a cool experience. I'd never seen so much of my mom's closet before. However, there was times when Enrico would ask me to improvise, and that's kind of a dangerous game, asking me to improvise, because I might slip out with something a little bit too adult.
Hey, Eddie, these are birth control pills?
Yeah, and I'm saving it for your sister.
Eventually, Luca's parents come to town, and even though they've supposedly, reportedly, allegedly never been to the surface, they're able to walk with ease, and since they're on a mission, they decide to baptize every child in this town again in order to find Luca.
Oh, sorry, I'm not used to legs.
Now again, it's not a perfect movie. I'm not saying that it's going to be a masterpiece for everybody, especially when it comes to its own rules and how the town hates sea monsters, because there are several times when Luca should have turned when he was in front of everybody. At one point, they have Alberto running with an umbrella in front of him in the rain, and considering how long they've been hunting these creatures, as soon as they got close to someone's daughter, you know they would have been poached quicker than Jimmy John's. It's also not like Coco, where it's aiming to represent an entire culture from its voice cast to its rituals, but more so the childhood memories of that culture from the director's point of view. In fact, it's based completely on his own childhood.
The inspiration for Luca are multiple, but one of the core one is the summers I spent with my best friend Alberto when we were kids. I was around 12 when I met him, and I was a timid and shy kid, and he was a bit of a troublemaker, an extrovert. He was running around, always one new thing every day. So the experience of really having a lot of fun and being kind of out of my comfort zone with someone who's very different from me was something I really wanted to talk about. These friendships that at that kind of right age when we're starting to kind of leave the comfort of the family, that challenge you, that kind of start making you find your identity.
That's why there's a bunch of Italian Easter eggs, specifically to the iconic director Fellini, even using the same train design for the final goodbye scene as an homage. There's several movie poster references and classics playing on the TV in this animated world that is based off of his hometown.
We, as kids, we roamed around and went fishing there on the Kappa, which means point bocce.
Of course, they keep the Pixar staples. When Luca gets his ticket to go to school, it's the iconic A113 classroom where Pixar legends learn that gets referenced. Obviously, they showcase the incredible Italian pasta dishes throughout, but deliver the biggest culinary homage with the Pizza Planet truck. There's the Lexa ball when they're racing, but personally, I'm a little upset that they cut the Ratzenberger Easter eggs, because those are always my personal favorites to look out for. Keeping in the same universe though, in Seoul they had that Porto Rosso poster that was advertising travel there, which is probably also like one train ride away from the Porto Corsa place and its raceway that we saw in Cars 2. The grape drink from Up has gone international, but not as much as Donald Duck, who I didn't know was this massive overseas, even flexing his own comic series. Director Enrico Casarosa previously did the short Luna, and he has a couple of references here as well, with the moon, with the little boy appearing in the credits, and even the dads looking familiar, and are probably also cousins with the sardine-selling dad from Cloudy. Even with the stars, there's a cute little Looney Tunes moment where Luca replaces them with fish, because...
What are all those tiny lights?
Anchovies. They go there to sleep.
And keeping on that idea of friendships influencing you, the boys even start to use Julia's phrases.
Santa mozzarella.
It's a literal fish out of water story where Luca discovers a whole new world as he's animated with having the biggest eyes to take it all in. But the other thing he takes is his family for granted, because they're there for him a little too much, whereas Alberto has no one. And it's that ignorance that causes him to go from a shepherd protecting fish to the one who ends up selling him out, including a moment where he turns on his own best friend.
Sea monster!
Luca Berto, on the other hand, looks forward to things when he's used to getting left behind. That's why he feels the way when he sees the same thing happening to Luca, yet is willing to put his best friend's interest first. And with Massimo, he finally has someone who he can learn from, someone who was also born different than those around him, and someone who, when he goes missing, is actually willing to go look for him.
I don't think he wants anyone looking for him.
Maybe not just in case.
Julia is also stuck between two worlds, not being able to fit in with her peers at school, but also not fully welcomed in the summer town where her dad lives. Yet, she's the most persistent person who's never willing to take no for an answer.
I didn't quit. They made me stop.
Not only does she have an interest in space, but she's also the one who truly educates Luca and sets him on a path. She also focuses on the small details and can pick up, even under distress, when her friends are in trouble, and through it all remains positive.
The universe is literally yours!
Wow.
No, that's also why it's cute that in the credits, they seem to be watching the moon landing together, so I really don't know when it takes place, but there is several ways that you can take this movie. From a protective parent's point of view, who's overly worried for their child to experience the world.
The world is a very dangerous place, Luca, and if I have to send you to the bottom of the ocean to keep you safe, so be it.
To the experienced elderly who have hope that they'll find a way.
Some people, they'll never accept him. But some will.
Stories like these have always been ripe for metaphors, especially when you're dealing with mermaids.
Merman.
It's a story about growing a friendship that then starts to grow apart. It's a story for the runaways who feel they're not welcomed in a place out to get them until things change. For those left behind and leave markings to not feel alone. A story that deals with outing, turning, learning to be yourself, and Hell was released in the month of June.
This is how I came into the world.
So as someone who runs a channel called Let Me Explain, I've always been aware of the different interpretations people can bring into a movie depending on their own backgrounds, and the me in LME represents mine, even when it's different from the director. Because art isn't just subjective when you want it to be. From the creatives to the viewer, a great movie speaks to the most vulnerable parts of your psyche, and this is one of those movies where you can put any theory to it, and it doesn't really contradict the story, and that's thanks to its simplicity. It's meant for you to apply your own experiences to it, and if anyone tries to shut you or tells you differently, then hit him with a
Silenzio Bruno!
In the end, the town people do embrace them fast, and this movie ended up on streaming, as the friends go their separate ways, ready to encounter new things. As the credits shout out, all of the friends who pulled us out of the water and helped us find our way. Those who push you to leave your comfort zone and take a risk. To all those that help you look ahead.
Thanks to you. Otherwise, I never would have seen any of this.
Thank you all for checking out this video, and I'm curious to know your thoughts down below in the comment section. What are your theories? What does the movie mean to you? How do you interpret it? And who is your favorite character? I'm curious to know what you think about Pixar at this point. You know, I've never thought that their animation is bad, but I do love that it seems like they're pivoting over to the style of letting the animators, the directors do their own thing and kind of make it different. Like, not everything needs to be the same, so I'm curious to see where they're going to take it with that. One of the best parts of the movie, and something that I've had on repeat, is the score. It is just beautiful. The whistling, the Italian influences, just the contrast of the music when they're underwater to just how free it feels when they're above. And even noting the fact that the ending song was inspired by Weezer's Only in Dreams. Interesting, just fascinating stuff. But that's one that I've had on repeat. I think, again, while it's an issue to see that Pixar is kind of being drowned out in the background and only being streaming releases, I don't like that from Disney. It is dope that we have it there in the comfort of our own home to watch and rewatch as many times, if you have a Disney Plus account, I guess. But I'm curious to know your thoughts on this. Like I said, it's been interesting to see how people have taken it or, kind of rejected what the director has to say, even though he's the one who made the movie. But, it can be both. It can be multiple interpretations, and I think that's one of the best parts of this movie and why I think it's going to stick around to be a lot of people's favorites for a while. Not in my top half, but definitely one that I enjoyed. It's probably like right in the middle of my Pixar list, but I'm curious to see where it lands for you. Let me know your thoughts on this one or any other ones. And until next time, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll send you a
Vespa.